St. Cloud. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Jet.
All right, Jim, so let's touch on that Viking win yesterday, 23-17. They beat the 49ers to improve to 2-0. Your thoughts?
One of the most impressive victories of this regime. The 49ers are very good. They looked great in week one, and the Vikings really took it to them. I thought Darnold was excellent. Justin Jefferson was a huge game. Naylor was really good. The running game worked really well. They're playing power football. Defense was, I thought, exceptional, holding that team to 17 points, harassing Purdy all day, limiting big plays. That was an impressive victory all around. And I think you're seeing that a lot of the roster changes, a lot of decisions they made might not have been the flashiest, but they brought in a lot of good players.
How does Andrew Van Ginkel jump the route? I think he did it twice yesterday. We saw him do it for a touchdown in the previous week against the Giants. He was very disruptive. Seems like he's got a knack for that.
Yeah, he's a really smart, intuitive player. He kind of reads plays really well. He's obviously a very good athlete on top of it, and he's very quick. But that's awareness. That's the awareness to read the play and the quickness to get to the spot where he can disrupt the play.
Well, on that play, it looked like Deebo Samuel may have been better off not catching the ball. That put the 49ers in a position where they had to kick a field goal then.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I think Flores is doing wonderful things with this defense. You see him attacking from all angles. Van Ginkel's been excellent. Pat Jones, 2 good games. Yesterday, a spectacular game. Cashman and Pace have been all over the field. And then Stephon Gilmore. You just don't see Stephon Gilmore getting beat. And he's taking out the number one receiver, or at least limiting the number one receiver. And Shaq Griffin's been good, and Murphy's been good. Safeties haven't even really been tested much. This is kind of the way his defense is supposed to work.
Yeah, you mentioned Pat Jones. I mean, is he a guy that he seems like he was an under radar player, and he's two sacks yesterday, and he had a couple in the first game too against the Giants.
Yeah, he's been a depth player, but Flores wants to use a lot of players. He wants to keep you fresh. He wants a lot of energy on the field, and so his reserves are going to play a lot. And Pat Jones is taking full advantage of both the playing opportunity and a system where Flores is going to create some free runners.
It looked like the Vikings were going to go up by 3 touchdowns when Aaron Jones caught a screen pass and was close to scoring, and he fumbled. Niners picked it up, and they were able to go down and cut the lead. And then we saw mostly Ty Chandler after that. Your thoughts?
Jones just banged up. He was in the medical tent for a little bit. I can't remember if it was a knee or ankle or whatever, but he got banged up. He didn't get benched. He was just hurting a little bit. And Ty Chandler's run the ball extremely well.
And Chandler, 10 carries for 82 yards. That's very impressive against a very good defense. Yeah,
and I wrote about it a little bit today. You look at all the places this team is better than last year's team, and one of them is running back. Jones is an excellent player. Ty Chandler is a year better than he was last year when he showed some flashes. And instead of Alexander Madison fumbling and dropping passes and killing them early in the season, you have now running back has gone from being a weakness to being a strength.
How about Jalen Naylor in the game he played?
Boy, he was really good. He's had 2 really good weeks on top of catching the ball and showing speed. Great back shoulder catch on that downfield pass. Darnold put it where basically the only place there wasn't a defender, and Naylor was able to adjust to it. And then the lead blocking on Justin Jefferson's touchdown. If he doesn't get in the way of a 49ers defender, that play might not go all the way.
How healthy is Justin Jefferson?
He says a quad bruise, and so that's not a serious injury, but it is. I've had, even being a mediocre athlete, I've dealt with quad bruises, and man, they really make it hard to function. It's hard to run on them. It's hard to stretch them. So, listen, I think he'll play. The question is, will it slow him down at all?
So they're off to a 2-0 start, and they're one of 4 teams in the NFC that are 2-0. We could see the Eagles make it a 5th team if they're able to win tonight against the Falcons, which seems likely. How Sam Darnold has looked really, really good. Has he had stretches where he's looked this good before?
Yeah, I've written about that a few times. So I don't want to diminish enthusiasm. He's played really well through 2 weeks. It's not that unusual for him to do that. He's won his first start, his like opening day start for 3 different franchises, the Jets, Carolina, and now the Vikings. He's had good months. He had 2 different good months in 2 different seasons for Carolina. He had a good month early on with the Jets. He's had good months before, so this isn't completely unusual or unexpected. I really think for him, the big test is going to be, October. Can he sustain? Can he hang in there? When defensive coordinators start figuring out what he likes to do and takes things away, how does he react? Those are still big. I mean, he's played great so far, but those are big questions that will come to face him here pretty soon.
Thoughts on other teams in the division? The Packers win. Bears get beat last night. The Lions lose a home game to the Bucks. Your opinions on those?
Yeah, the Lions have, the Lions win in overtime and opening day, and then they lose at home to the Bucks. Now the Bucks are good, and Baker Mayfield seems to have found a home. So it's not the worst loss in the world, but for a team with Super Bowl aspirations to lose a home game early in the season in a game you're favored, it shows the Lions might not be just the world dominating franchise that a lot of people had projected them to be. I give the Packers credit for winning without their starting quarterback. They didn't play great yesterday. They played well enough to win. That's what they need to do, is steal a couple wins while Love is out. And the Bears, frankly, Caleb Williams, he looks to one of the reasons I was not as high on Caleb Williams as other people. I thought Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback, and I thought I preferred even Michael Penix over Caleb. Is when he gets in trouble, he will throw the ball up in the air. That game he played against Notre Dame last year, he was under pressure and he was just willing to flip the ball up in the air and hope for the best, and had a bunch of interceptions. I'm just not sold yet. He doesn't, he obviously has talent. I'm not sold on him as a franchise quarterback.
Jim, some other things happening over the weekend. Go for football, shutout Nevada, back-to-back shutouts for them. Thoughts on their 2-1 start?
Yeah, they came very close to being a 3-0 team. If they make a field goal, they beat North Carolina to 3-0, and there would probably be a lot of optimism around them. I would say they look pretty good right now. Also, the Big Ten schedule that looked really scary when the season started might not be quite as scary as we thought. Michigan is good, but not great. USC, really talented. That'll be a challenge. UCLA, another unranked team. Iowa coming to town. I think it's I think most spreads have it being like a 1 or 2 point game. So, you lose your opener and the schedule looks really hard. It would have been easy to get down on this team's chances. Right now, I think they have a fighting chance. Especially with Darius Taylor in the lineup. He's a wonderful player. Brosmer has now had some time to settle in. So it's going to, it's a tough stretch coming up here, but maybe this team's good enough to steal a couple wins here.
Jim, do they have a good defense?
I think so, but they're going to be tested here coming up. Now, Iowa's not an offensive juggernaut, but you're probably going to have to win a low-scoring game, so defense is going to be very important in this one. Then they go to Michigan. Michigan is not great this year, but they obviously always have talent. USC, they always have talent. UCLA doesn't look like it's a great team. Maryland, not a great team. Illinois is ranked right now. So I don't know. It feels like they do have a good defense. I think the front seven's been very good. I think they're a good defense, period. We thought coming into the season that the front seven was going to be good and secondary was going to be a little questionable, but their secondary players have made plays the first 3 weeks. Pretty good ball hawkers. And if they can run the ball and make life a little easier for Brosmer with Darius Taylor back, again, maybe these are more even matchups than we thought they might be.
Jim, the Twins yesterday salvaged the final game of the series against the Reds. They got a 2-run home run from Carlos Santana. Brooks Lee drove in 5. Thoughts on the Twins and where they stand right now?
It's just a shame they couldn't hold it together a little bit better the last 2 weeks, and so this Cleveland series would be a little more dramatic. They're six and a half out right now, and so they really don't have a realistic chance of catching Cleveland. I mean, if they swept, they'd be still 2.5 games out. But they're they have a 2.5 game lead on two teams in the wild card. They can find a way to get through this. Hold on to that wild card spot. They will go to the playoffs the fourth time in 6 years, and they'll have, probably have Pablo Lopez on them. I mean, I think one of the important things for this team, I think they need to secure the wild card spot early enough that they can set up their postseason rotation and have Pablo Lopez going in game one. Because if they can do that, if they can get the wild card spot and have Pablo Lopez pitching in game one, they got a chance to beat anybody.
Jim, one last one. The Minnesota Lynx win at New York against the Liberty. The Liberty, the only team ahead of them in the standings, at a possible WNBA final preview.
Yes, just a stunning season from the Lynx. They're on another winning streak. They win at New York, the best team in the league. They play Connecticut Tuesday night, and the regular season finale is Thursday at home against Los Angeles. Connecticut has the tiebreaker, so if the Lynx win tonight, they're the number 2 seed. If they win either of the next 2 games, then they're the 2 seed. If they lose 2 and Connecticut wins 2, then Connecticut's 2 seed because they have the tiebreaker. Still mathematically, well, not really. So, I mean, just a stunning season. And yeah, they are good enough to go to the finals, and they've beaten they've beaten New York. So I just did not see any of this coming.
All right, Jim, what do you got in your podcast?
Full slate is up. We have Mike Grimm on the Gophers, Randy Shaver on high school football, John Millay on preps, Roy Smalley, Lavelle O'Neill, myself on the Chin Music Show, which is our baseball show, John Krasinski on basketball, outdoor content, Kevin Gorg on hockey, Bar Down Beauties on hockey. Everything's at talknorth.com or on your favorite podcast app.
All right, Jim, thank you. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Jay.
It's Jim Souhan, Star Tribune sports columnist, joining us every weekday morning at this time. Follow him on Twitter at SouhanStrib. Check out his latest column at Star Tribune or his podcast at talknorth.com. Jim, once again today is brought to you by the Green Mill in downtown St. Cloud. Next on WJON, World and National News from ABC, and that's brought to you by Executive Express.